want to make better financial decisions, then you should be sure to read this book, The Psychology of Money. In one sentence, The Psychology of Money explores how money moves around in the society, and it also explains how your personal financial biases and your emotional factor play an important role in your financial decisions, and it also gives you an idea of how you can think rationally and make better decisions about money. So in this video, we're going to see what are the three main takeaways we can get from this book, The Psychology of Money. And my favorite quote by the author Morgan Housel in this book is, "Money's greatest intrinsic value, and which is almost always underrated, is its ability to give you control over your time." In our life, our personal finances play a very important role, yet somehow we don't discuss about it, or we don't educate ourselves enough about it. So we have a lot of misconceptions about money, thinking that only people who are lucky, or only people who have inherited money, or people who have done extraordinary things with their life can have money. But this is completely wrong. Anyone can have money because money is a circulating asset and it doesn't belong to anyone. You can have money too, and you can become rich too, only if you change your present financial practices and change your mindset about wealth. First of all, you need to acknowledge your current financial beliefs and assess what are your beliefs about money in order for you to change them or modify them and get rid of them completely, because your financial biases, your personal financial biases, your emotions, everything play an important role in your financial decisions. And there are a lot of other things which play a role in your financial decisions too. And this book, The Psychology of Money, gives you a clear idea of what you can do starting today to get better with your finances. The three most important lessons you can take away from this book, The Psychology of Money, is: number one is that being greedy can turn out to be the biggest mistake in relation to money. And number two is that envy has no place in the money market, and this can blur your decisions about money. And number three is that your earliest financial experiences, or your earliest experiences with money in life, determine how you decide, how you make your financial decisions later on in life. So let's get to know a little more about these lessons from this book, The Psychology of Money. So the lesson number one is to keep greed out of it. Are you greedy? Of course not. At least we like to tell ourselves that we are not greedy, and we always like to think highly of ourselves and blame all our misfortunes on luck. So in this book, the author tells us about a stock market trader who was born in 1877, and he was born before the stock market crash which occurred in 1929, and he was able to predict that the stock market is going to crash. So this is the best decision he has ever made in his life, and he was able to save $3 million from this single prediction. So after this, he thought he was invincible, and he kept on investing, and he kept investing in the wrong places and lost all of his money within no time, and finally he committed suicide. So this is an example of how greed can lead you to destruction. The problem was, even after having enough, and even after having more than what a normal person would have wished for, he was greedy, and he kept on going after money even though he had enough. So the lesson we have to learn from this is, don't be greedy. When we have accomplished certain goals in our life, or when we have achieved something which is enough for us, we have to learn to be fearful and how to maintain our status instead of wanting more and more, and instead of becoming greedy. When you're scared of losing what you already have, you won't be happy to risk it all. So stop being greedy about money and be happy with whatever you have, and start living in the present. Lesson number two is, envy is not good for money. Strong emotions like envy can make you take poor financial decisions. And apart from envy, the fear of missing out is another such factor which makes you take poor financial decisions. When it comes to money, always stick to your decisions, because you have come to that decision based on your situation, and you have assessed a lot of things when you're coming to that decision. But when you look at others and you change your decisions from time to time, thinking that what works for them might work for you, then you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Because everybody's journey is different and everybody's way of handling money is different too. So, as much as possible, keep a track of your emotions and try and control them in relation to money, and you'll be able to make good financial decisions and become financially independent. And there is no need to be competitive or jealous about anyone at all. And there is a good example of this in this book, The Psychology of Money. And there is a person named Rajat Gupta who was the former CEO of McKinsey. He came from a modest background and he made his mark by coming up to 100 million worth. But he was not satisfied and he was jealous and envious about Warren Buffett, who was a billionaire. And this made him to make the biggest mistake of his life. He got himself into a dangerous situation and he made the biggest mistake in trading called the insider trading, and this made him go to prison and ended up having to serve in the prison for some time. And he ended up paying a thousandfold. So, was this decision worth it? Definitely not. He let envy get the best out of him. So, this can be a valuable lesson to people who want to make the right decisions about money. And if you want to make good decisions about money, think twice before you make any decision and keep emotions out of it at all the time and filter out your emotions when it comes to financial decisions, and then you'll be able to make good financial decisions. Lesson number 3 is the experiences that you have had early on determine your financial decisions later on in life. For example, your childhood and your parents' childhood is completely different. They have different opinions and beliefs about money, and you have different ones because of the financial circumstances you have grown in. In this book, the author gives us a detailed explanation about a study which was conducted, and this study states that people invest depending upon the financial situations when they were growing up. For example, a person who has grown in a high inflation may think that bonds are a good way of investing. But a person who has grown up in times of fluctuating stock markets can think that bonds are the best way to invest money. So it's extremely important to acknowledge your biases about finances to be able to deal with them and to get rid of them eventually. In general, all financial decisions should be backed by a sound analysis, reliable facts, and a mind open to new perspectives. And you should work on your ability to adapt to trends and to get rid of the phobias you have for new ones, even though it contradicts your beliefs. Because the money market does not have any place for subjectivity, biases, or impulsive decisions. So, if you feel like you have made all the wrong financial decisions, and if you think that money is not one of the things which you can achieve in your lifetime, The Psychology of Money is the book for you. This book will change your perspective about money, and it will help you rethink and re-evaluate your beliefs about money. And this book will also give you a step-by-step guide of how you can change your beliefs about money and get financially independent and financially secure. So I hope this video gave you a good idea about this book, The Psychology of Money, and motivated you to read it. So I'll see you in another interesting and helpful video. Until then, take care.